President halts 15 billion rupee oil pipeline project. Auditor General's report exposes massive fertilizer fraud. Prime Minister declares open the Roland Silva Fresco Conservation Centre. Largest stash of money in possession of drug smugglers found in Kaduwela.
මුලින්ම අත්අඩංගුවට කාන්තාව සොත්තිඋපාලි නැමැති පුද්ගලයාගේ දියණිය බවට අනාවරණය වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Landslide warnings issued in 3 districts. Heavy rains in some areas.
Main sponsor.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. In your top story tonight, a Fresco Research Centre in Dambulla under the Central Cultural Fund was declared opened by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today.
The Fresco Research Centre was named after a veteran in architecture, archaeology and heritage conservation, Deshamanya Vidyajyoti, late Dr. Ronald Silva. The centre was declared open by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. The general public has the opportunity to enjoy the frescoes at this centre from today.
Main sponsor.
Legends 966 this season. A collection of the most memorable songs, Christmas hits and family favorites 24/7. Tune in now.
Struggling to find reliable plumbers, electricians, gardeners and other service providers? Bellboys got you covered.
A tense situation arose in Hingurakoda, Polonnaruwa today over the failure to construct a road as requested by residents.
The Hingurakoda Pradeshiya Sabha had allocated funds to lay concrete over a gravel path in the Nikavava area regarding the convenience of residents. However, a tense situation arose when a team of officials, including the chairman of the Hingurakoda Pradeshiya Sabha, visited the location today. Residents claim that steps have been taken to lay concrete instead of constructing a tarred road for the financial benefit of certain individuals. Following stiff objections raised by residents, the equipment for the project belonging to the Road Development Authority was removed from the location.
We are not requesting for a concrete road. We only requested for a tarred road. They have started to lay concrete following a decision made overnight. Buses commute through this main route frequently. Therefore, we request for tar to be laid on this road.
State Minister Rohana Ranasinghe arrived at the location to discuss the problem with residents.
Since this road runs through paddy fields, the RDA has proposed the construction of a concrete road. But residents are asking for the road to be laid with tar. The government has been elected to power by the sovereignty of the people. Therefore, we have decided to construct a tarred road.
Representatives are elected to local authorities and provincial councils to solve the issues faced by the people. However, failure of local authority representatives to address the needs of the public has caused much disappointment among voters. Having said that, this is the plight of the people in Athgoda, Karuwala Gaswewa.
For several decades, residents of the Athungoda village in Karuwala Gaswewa have been asking for a bridge to cross the Kita-Ala river that stems out from the Mioya. The village of Athungoda is home to around 300 families that earn a living through farming. Farmers say the absence of a bridge has caused inconveniences in visiting their paddy fields, especially during the rainy season. Following the collapse of a footbridge in the area, the desperate villagers had to resort to constructing a makeshift bridge for their convenience. However, the installation of the bridge has been stalled due to the lack of metal required to be used as hangers. Residents complain that their journey to the paddy fields during heavy downpours is a matter of life and death.
ඉතින් ටික කරගන්න අමාරු තමයි දැන් මේ ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් අපි හිතන්නේ අපිට පුළුවන් නම් යම් දෙයක් කරලා මේක හදලා දෙන්න කියලා කියන්නේ. අපිට පරම්පරාවෙම ඊළඟ කට්ටියටවත් මේක ගොවිතැනක් හරියට ඇවිල්ලා කරගන්න පුළුවන් විදියට.
The National Audit Office has revealed that certain National Fertilizer Secretariat employees have been permitting the release of failed fertilizer stocks. Now, these fertilizer stocks included lead, chromium, arsenic, cadmium and other components above the permissible levels. This was done by replacing accurate laboratory test reports with fake ones.
Recent audit checks revealed 34 instances in which subject clerks and supervising officers handling the respective files misplaced accurate lab test reports pertaining to 7 types of fertilizer and inserted fake ones. The stocks were released and government subsidies exceeding 1 billion rupees paid to the importing companies. The audit report contains details of all the irregularities. For instance, a stock of 385 metric tons of triple superphosphate dated September 2018 failed as its lead value was 51.83 parts per million when tested by the Bureau Veritas lab. The allowable lead value is 30 parts per million. The second sample also failed, with the lead value returning even higher at 67 parts per million, tested by SGS laboratory. However, the National Audit Office said that the National Fertilizer Secretariat had approved to release the relevant stock of fertilizer to the market after removing the 2 failed test reports from the file and attaching a fake laboratory test report prepared under the name of SGS laboratory, which had stated the lead value was not detected. This TSP stock was then issued to the market under the false premise that it was compliant with national standards. The NFS also paid the importer a subsidy of over 17.6 million rupees. The audit report shows that these malpractices involve a majority of the country's leading fertilizer importers, all the main types of fertilizer distributed in the market, and was also pervasive throughout 2019.
In a story that made it to your headlines tonight, an article on the Sunday Island revealed that the controversial move to build a cross-country oil pipeline at a whopping cost of 15 billion rupees has been halted on a presidential directive.
Industry officials said, quote, the proposed project has been scrapped on an order by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, unquote. The officials further added that the Minister of Energy, Udaya Gammanpilla, has intimated that the proposed project has been called off and that a memorandum is expected to be submitted to the cabinet on the cancellation. The cross-country project was first proposed during 2013-2014 but was shelved with the construction of the Muthurajawala oil tank farm, which was then augmented by the new oil pipeline at the Sapugaskanda oil refinery by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation engineering team. Attempts to implement the proposed project under the present dispensation ran into a storm, with industry players slamming the move as a criminal waste of public funds in the backdrop of the anticipated long-term slide in fuel consumption for thermal energy, with 3 key liquefied natural gas projects poised to enter Sri Lanka's energy market.
The chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board has claimed that the existence of the Public Utilities Commission did not have a positive impact on the electricity bills of consumers in the country. Meanwhile, civic groups, including the Employees Union of the PUCSL, have pointed out that it is the people who ultimately bear the brunt of massive losses incurred by the state-run electricity board. The employees' union has insisted that the PUCSL has always intervened to prevent any fraudulent dealings that can cause losses to the country.
The people did not receive concessions on their electricity bills due to the existence of the Public Utilities Commission. They must bear responsibility for thwarting the process of opening a coal power plant. We will not mind if the body was made up of genuine individuals, but they must not make political decisions. There is no problem if the PUCSL operates within a stipulated legal framework, but its existence will not have an impact on the cost of electricity bills. Do you think the government wants to bring disgrace upon itself by burdening the people when we have reduced losses by 45 billion rupees and have even proven that our plans can be implemented? The PUCSL did not act as a regulator in the last 6 years. The cost of electricity bills was not increased only based on the government's decision. If the matter was put before the PUCSL, the cost of bills would have risen. The existence of the PUCSL will not have an influence on electricity bills or any other matters. However, the Employees Union of the Public Utilities Commission pointed out that wastage of public funds had been avoided by preventing massive losses that would have been incurred by the country. Between 2016 and 2020, we received 16 requests to make short and medium-term emergency power purchases. We rejected all of them due to various reasons. The reason provided for certain power purchases was not found to be true. The proposals that we received were to purchase power for 3 months, 9 months, and even 30 months. Some proposals were put forward to purchase power for 10 years. We admit that we had shot down all of these requests. We turned down these proposals since the country's electricity grid did not require them. A shortage of power had not taken place as a result of rejecting these proposals. If a unit of power is sold between 13 to 15 rupees, these proposals sought to increase the value to more than 15 rupees. Therefore, we have saved large sums of money for this country. 216 billion rupees had been saved in 2019 by rejecting a proposal for emergency power purchase. We received requests to purchase up to 1,970 megawatts of power between 2016 and 2020. Therefore, we saved the country and the Ceylon Electricity Board around 570 billion rupees due to our decisions.
රුපියල් බිලියන 570ක් විතර ඇස්ටිමේට් මුදලක් මේ විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයට සහ රටට ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
The proposed extension of the power plant was set to end on the 31st of December 2022 or the 1st of January 2023. The problem is regarding the manner in which the requests are made. The Ceylon Electricity Board puts forward its proposals classifying them as emergency power purchases. There is a problem regarding the manner in which the request is being made under Section 43 of our Act. There are documents to justify the proposals, but since the CEB does not present those documents, the PUCSL instructs them to resubmit the proposal with the documents. Delays in approving the proposals take place due to the failure to submit the necessary documents.
ඉතින් මේ ලියකියවිලි ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට නොහැකියාව හෝ නැත්නම් තින පසුතාවයක් නිසා නැවතත් මේකේ අනුමැතිය පරක්කු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
The East Container Terminal of the Colombo Port, a subject that has been discussed for quite some time now. However, one question still lingers. Why are the authorities so determined to hand over the East Container Terminal of the Colombo Port to the Adani Group?
There is an opposition against this from within the government. All trade unions are against this. The engineers union and administrators say that they can do this. This is an important source of foreign revenue for the country. Speaking about the Adani Group, even people in India have rejected this company as it is extremely corrupt. But according to our information, the Indian Prime Minister is connected to this company. There is corruption even there. They are trying to bring down items smuggled from there. In the process of bringing the money to Sri Lanka, we must understand that there are underhand deals. That is why the authorities are doing this. If not, why would they sell the state entity that generates so much of foreign revenue? There are hidden agendas behind the move to sell off this terminal. Some of them are in dollars and some are political deals. This becomes an issue in the Indian Ocean, and it is natural that India shows some interest towards the activities of Sri Lanka. All of these discussions are taking place based on the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the previous government. A cabinet paper can be put forward at the cabinet meeting. Observations can be submitted. It is at that point that the decision will be made. But the government must have control of a stake of over 50%. The Wilmar company is the company supporting the Adani company here in Sri Lanka. Wilmar was the company that brought down sugar recently and caused a massive loss to the government. In the end, the government did not get the tax and the price of sugar was not reduced for the people. This government simply did that to allow the Wilmar company that owns the Shangri-La Hotel to earn a massive profit. The international representative of Wilmar is the Adani Group. The Wilmar and Adani companies are the ones working together to get control over this container terminal. We only regret the fact that people who spoke so patriotically regarding the COVID-19 indigenous tonic are not speaking patriotically about the East Container Terminal. We believe that the terminal is more local than the tonic. That is the treasure that this country needs. We would like to remind the members of the government that you can't portray a patriotic image through the tonic after selling the container terminal. We began the construction of the Central Expressway through direct labor under the Road Development Authority. Today we have started factories directly under us. So if someone from Sri Lanka is willing to invest, if they have the financial stability to invest in this, and if they have experience and a vision for the terminal, then I believe the best thing to do is to give it to a person like that. Where is the government that came to take back that which was sold? We would like to ask if the East Container Terminal at the Colombo port is also running at a loss. Just like changing a pillow for a headache, these people are now shamelessly selling off some of the strategic locations in our country. They are selling off all of these national assets to compensate for their failures. The MCC does not have to be signed. They have now left the MCC agreement behind and are selling off national assets.
And some news from neighbouring India as more farmers from across India join what's considered to be the largest protest in human history. The movement entered its 25th day today. Over 25 protesters have died during these farmers' protests.
Farmers in Ghazipur, New Delhi will observe Shadi Divas to pay tribute to those who lost their lives during the protests. The BJP said Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with farmers on the 25th of December, adding that the party will hold Kisan Samvads or meetings with farmers at over 2,500 places in the Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi has on several occasions tried to assure the farmers regarding the farm laws and has maintained that the reforms brought by his government will revolutionize the agricultural sector. Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar said that the government is ready for talks with the farmers if, quote-unquote, they come forward without seeking a yes or no response to their demands, unquote. Meanwhile, Shiv Sena parliamentarian Sanjay Raut claimed the winter session of parliament was cancelled to avoid a debate on the ongoing farmers' protests against the centre's new farm laws. The farmer-led protests erupted in response to 3 laws passed by the Modi government. With farmers concerned, deregulation of agricultural markets will favour corporate interests such as billionaire Adani's agricultural business and make farmers vulnerable to exploitation. The Modi government has on many occasions been branded as an agent of corporate houses like Ambani and Adani.
What is the progress of Sri Lanka's plans to procure a COVID-19 vaccine for the citizens of Sri Lanka? Stay tuned, we will be right back after this short commercial break.
Struggling to find reliable plumbers, electricians, gardeners and other service providers? Bellboys got you covered.
Welcome back to the news. The Department of Government Information announced the areas that will be placed under isolation and areas where the isolation status will be lifted tomorrow. The newly isolated areas that will come into effect from 5 a.m. tomorrow: Nilgahavatha in Paliagoda, Purana Kotuvatha in Paliagoda, Sri Jayanti Mawatha, Veligoda North in Kiribatgoda, where isolation status will be lifted at 5 a.m. tomorrow. The areas include Naiduwa in Kelavarapitiya, Gangabada in Paliagoda, Kiribatgoda, Veliangoda North Gramanilari Division. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, head of the National Operations Center for the Prevention of COVID-19, further informs that the regions designated as isolated areas in other districts will continue to remain isolated until further notice.
Quoting an official, the Sunday Times has reported that the government is seeking a soft loan while also looking at the possibility of obtaining funding from the Asian Development Bank and the European Union for the purchase of the vaccine.
What is Sri Lanka's plan to purchase the vaccine?
3 technical subcommittees are looking into various aspects of the COVID-19 vaccine. The committees are examining the maintenance of cold chain and logistics, costing and identification and prioritization of target groups for the vaccine.
What has been done to purchase the vaccine?
Speaking to Newsfirst, Additional Secretary of Public Health Services Dr. Lakshmi Somatunga said 4 vaccines are currently in phase 3 clinical trials and that a vaccine will be brought down to Sri Lanka after the clinical trials of these vaccines are complete. Additional Secretary of Public Health Services Dr. Lakshmi Somatunga added that Sri Lanka has submitted the preliminary application to COVAX, the global initiative aimed at providing equitable access to the vaccines. However, COVAX has already accepted the Maldives proposal for the procurement of vaccines.
What is happening in the region regarding the vaccine?
The COVID-19 vaccines are expected to arrive in the Maldives in early 2021. The country is currently working with the help from international development agencies to prepare for the vaccine distribution. A few days ago, Singapore became the first Asian country to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus vaccine. Singapore expects to have secured enough vaccines for all Singaporeans by the 3rd quarter of next year. According to the Singaporean Prime Minister, the vaccine will be provided to all Singaporeans free of charge, along with long-term residents of Singapore.
The program to randomly test people exiting the Western Province continued today as well.
Media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana stated that this step was taken to control the spread of COVID-19 outside of the Western Province. Accordingly, testing will be carried out in the Kochikade on the Colombo-Chilao Main Road, Nittambu on the Colombo-Kandy Main Road, in Kosgama Hall on the Colombo-Ratnapura Main Road, and Beruwala on the Colombo-Matra Main Road. Through these tests yesterday, 6 COVID-19 cases were identified. Meanwhile, tests were conducted in Nittambu on the Colombo-Kandy Main Road today as well. According to our correspondent, tests were mainly conducted on passengers commuting on long-distance buses. 255 random tests were conducted at this location today. 4 patients who tested positive after the tests were directed to treatment centers. COVID-19 tests are being carried out in Benthara along the Colombo-Matra Main Road. They are being conducted with the Kalutara and Benthara medical officers of health and Benthara police officers.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa visited Nugathalawa Valimada today to look into the issues faced by farmers.
The opposition leader highlighted the problems faced by people who grow flowers and vegetables in Nugathalawa in Valimada. Representatives of the Farmers Association in the area were present at the event.
Providing medicine for this virus has become a national joke. Human lives are being played with. Yesterday it was said that loans are being taken from international financial institutions to get a vaccine for the country. That should have been under consideration few months ago. Attention should have been given to this matter when the government was focusing on the 2/3. The government should have been focusing on this instead of the 20th Amendment. They should have thought about the vaccine instead of trying to increase the power that they already had. Now what has happened? The rulers have made a joke out of problems in giving medicines for corona, economic issues, problems in people's living standards, education problems of the younger generations, and the health problems the public face.
समस्त जनतावගේ සෞඛ්‍ය ප්‍රශ්න අද පාලකයෝ විහිළුවට බාර අරන් තියෙනවා.
Farmers, who are considered the backbone of Sri Lanka's economy, were battered by the COVID-19 pandemic. But now, they are suffering from a re-emergence of the Sena caterpillar menace. Damages to cultivations were reported from the Trincomalee and Kurunegala districts.
The Sena caterpillar menace that is fast spreading across the country has already engulfed the Trincomalee district. First reports of the Sena caterpillar menace came to the fore in 2018. Thereafter, the infestation started spreading to the provinces of North East, Uva, North Central, Northwestern and Sabaragamuwa. Divisional secretariats of Gomarankaduwala, Kuchaveli, Kinniya, Muttur and Echalampattu have been impacted due to the spread of the Sena caterpillar. Gomarankaduwala has been one of the worst affected areas among these areas, as more than 200 acres have been engulfed by the Sena caterpillar infestation.
We sprayed fertilizer when we first encountered this problem. We had to pawn our jewelry. Now we don't have enough money to buy pesticides. This is the only mode of income we have. We either want a pesticide to eradicate this menace or we will be needing compensation.
Corn cultivation in the areas of Gonalagama, Borawaba, Kambuwatavana and Rakwana, located in the Polpitigama Divisional Secretariat in the Kurunegala district, have been entirely destroyed due to the Sena caterpillar menace. Farmers expressed their grief as their cultivation, surrounded by fences to protect it from wild boars and monkeys, have been destroyed in this manner.
ලක්ෂයක් විතර වාගේ වියදම ගිහින් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ තාම.
The elephants come and trample our crop. We erect fences to protect our cultivation from wild animals. Now the Sena caterpillar menace has destroyed everything.
අතේ කරේ කනෙත් දැන් මුකුත් නැහැ. ජීවත් වෙන්න විදිහක් නැහැ. ගොවිතැනුත් නැහැ. මෙදා කුඹුරුත් නැහැ. ඒ හින්දා අපිට මේකට වන්දියක් දෙන්න කොහොම හරි. මේ තියෙන අත කරන බඩුවත් බේරා ගන්න. වෙන කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ ඉතින් අපිට.
Venerable Athuraliye Rathanathera of the Ape Janabala Party expressed these views regarding his parliamentary seat at a media briefing held today.
ඔබවහන්සේ අසුන් ගන්නේ විපක්ෂයේද පක්ෂයේද නැත්නම් ස්වාධීනවද මම ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂේ වාඩි වුණත්
Regardless of sitting in the opposition or the ruling faction, I will stand by what is right. We are an independent party. I'm not entering the parliament to be a part of anyone, but to revive a separate force. I'm not serving the president, but the president's plan of action. He has a vision for the country, and I will work hard towards making that vision a reality. We still have hope in him. Unfortunately, it seems to me that there is no one to give him the strength he needs. Therefore, we are ready to give him the strength he needs.
ශක්තිය සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අපි ලබා දෙන සූදානම්.
The remains of 3 people who died after a cab plunged into the Vaunikulam tank in Mullaitivu were recovered last evening.
A group that had arrived in the Malawi area to visit the Vaunikulam tank had met their tragic fate after their cab had plunged into its waters. The deceased victims have been identified as a 30-year-old driver, his daughter aged 2 and a 12-year-old neighbour. They are residents of Selvapuram in Vaunia. The remains of the deceased has been taken to the Manchole hospital after being recovered by divers during an operation last evening. The son of the driver, aged 12, had survived the accident. He is currently receiving treatment. The post-mortem examination has been carried out into the remains of the deceased today. A warning sign has been installed in the vicinity of the tank following yesterday's incident.
50 million rupees in cash and 300 grams of heroin were seized in a raid carried out by the Police Narcotics Bureau in Kaduela today. This is considered to be the largest haul of cash found in the possession of drug smugglers.
Based on information received from a woman who was arrested in Nugegoda, 50 million rupees and 300 grams of heroin was seized during raids conducted in Velivita and Malabe in Kaduwela by the Police Narcotics Bureau.
According to investigations, we have found out that the suspect had money collected throughout a week. It has been revealed that the woman arrested in the raid is the daughter of the deceased criminal who was a part of many crimes that had happened in the country named Sotyupali. This racket has been managed by a person in Dubai who was a resident of Valigama.
The suspects were produced before the Kaduwela Magistrates Court today and will be detained in remand custody for 7 days.
In some severe weather updates, landslide warnings have been issued in 4 divisional secretariats in Kandy, Matale and Nuwara districts.
Senior geologist of the National Building Research Organisation, Wasantha Senadira, said that this announcement was issued considering the rainfall those areas experienced. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology said that the Central Province, Badulla, Ampara and Batticaloa districts will likely experience rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters. Issuing a statement, the department said that strong winds up to 50 kilometers per hour are possible in the eastern slopes of the Central Hills, North, North Central and Northwestern provinces and the Hambantota district. Showers will occur at several areas in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kaluthara, Galle and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. The department warns the public to take precautionary measures to prevent temporary strong winds and thunderstorms.
What should be the characteristics of politicians or a person who represents us? Who should he be? We leave you tonight with the following words of veteran Sri Lankan actor, former Deputy Speaker and former Governor, late Gamini Fonseca. He expressed these views in the 90s. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the News First team, along with our sign language interpreter for tonight, Taraka Gabriel.
Sasha, what is it that you like about Christmas?
Mostly the presents. What do you like about Christmas?
The music, of course.
Oh, that's great, because we have a treat for you.
We have Christmas songs from the past and the present in not just one episode, but 2 episodes this Christmas.
That's right. The first episode will be on Wednesday.